Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Patchett, and I want to welcome you to the very first video of our new channel, Century Ride, devoted to avid cyclists over 50 who want to keep the joy of the ride alive as long as possible and live better, healthier, happier lives well into old age. Somewhere around the age of 50, we start to decline. Our new default is decay. It's like a switch, but like all switches, it can be flipped. And when the second half of life arrives, the commitment to exercise, both aerobic and strength, become vitally important. There's so much dread and depression around aging, but much of it is a choice. The fact is, you could keep much of it at bay for years, if not decades. We need to stop looking at aging as a bad thing. Instead of fretting about a midlife crisis, we should celebrate midlife epiphanies. Why do we hit 50 and think, half my life is gone, I'm old now? Why do we permit such negative self-talk? As I arrive at a bit of a crossroads in my own life, I'm realizing that at 55, I could have another 40 years ahead of me. Let that sink in. That's a midlife awakening. I've owned my marketing agency with my husband for about 22 years. I have almost double that time ahead of me. And that means that I have time to get something totally new off the ground. I don't know if it'll be a success, but I've certainly got lots of time to try. Time to try things that I really want to do. Things that fulfill me. And who knows, hopefully inspire others and maybe even build a community of people just like us. Here's the thing. I'm aware that I probably feel optimistic about what lies ahead because I'm physically fit and strong, so it makes me feel capable. Therefore, I'm more optimistic that I could put the other pieces of my life in place. I recently heard the podcaster Rich Roll say, "Mood follows action." Think about that. Don't wait to be in the mood to do important things in your life, like exercise. Dive in. The mood you're waiting for comes from taking action. I love that. Tackle the thing you fear. That's what I'm doing right now. More and more, people are realizing that aging is largely the BS we tell ourselves, egged on by a society that values youth. But it's we who've had the careers. We have acquired skills. We've saved for homes. You've raised your children. You've had failures and come back for a win or two. At this point, we have more to offer, not less. Last week, I told my 82-year-old mom, "Mom, you could live another 15 years. I'd plan on that and conduct yourself accordingly. How would you like those years to unfold?" She laughed. She gets a lot of tough love from me. And, she knows I'm her coach for life, literally and figuratively, and she is on it. Like, for the first time in her life, she is spending 60 minutes a day on her treadmill. And it just is a reminder that it's never too late, as you'll learn in our new channel. So, for me, maybe it's 40 years left. For you, it may be 30, or like my mom, maybe another 15, but that's some solid time. So I ask you, how do you intend to use it? We are so lucky to have access to all this longevity science in podcasts and videos, and I hope one day to have some of those uber thinkers on the channel. So be sure to subscribe so we can make that happen. But I think there's an entirely different aspect of the second half of life that's less examined as we approach or embrace retirement. What makes for a good second half of life? As cyclists, many of us will be well on the way to checking the physical essentials for a great second half, but I think that many of us also struggle to define ourselves after our careers are done. What's next when we're not on the bike? How will we stimulate our brains and challenge ourselves so that we can remain vital and relevant? Well, undoubtedly, we live in a culture obsessed with youth. At this point in our lives, we've built our vessel, as the author Richard Rohr wrote. And now it's time to fill it up. You fill your vessel in the second half of life. Think about all the skills that we've built up in our lives. Consider your talents and your genius just waiting to be indulged, honed, and unleashed on the world. And you may be thinking, I don't have genius. But you have a unique genius with all the experience you've had in life. How might we deploy them in new ways that we never thought we'd have the chance to, that might bring a sense of fulfillment and might create community or help someone? That's vital to living well. It's vital to living longer. Without a doubt, being fit and strong is the foundation for a great, fulfilling second half. Without our health, we have nothing. And we are physically capable of so much, it's crazy. And as a cyclist, maybe you've pushed your limits. You know, it's life-changing. There are so many people doing amazing feats of athleticism late into life. So many people realizing their God-given talents in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And we're going to bring them to this channel to learn from them and motivate us all to create and design the ultimate second half. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We're on the hunt for answers to questions like, what kind of training and recovery should we be doing after 50? What kind of weight training will help us become better cyclists and humans for the long haul? What are the psychological impacts of aging, of sport? How do we make the science of longevity understandable so that we can act on it? How do we adapt all the advice for 30-something hard bodies to us? What goals make sense now? What about all the other hours off the bike? What makes for a fulfilling second half? How can this be the most fulfilling time of our lives? Is the concept of retirement killing us? And what are our options if so? Why don't we celebrate people doing incredible things in their second half more? How do we remain relevant as we get older? We're going to ask the experts the questions we all want answers to through the lens of older athletes. We're going to talk to amazing older athletes and fuel our motivation. We're going to talk to people about finding their genius later in life. And we're going to have fun. We're going to look at great routes and trips that we might take and dig into the latest gear and tech. And we're going to do our damnedest to make the latest science understandable so that we could live a good, long life. So at 55, I'm beginning the Century Ride, and I'd love it if you join me. It's literally the ride of our lives. As I film this, I have not one subscriber, not one view, and I'd love it if you'd be among the first to subscribe, hit the like button, and maybe share it with another 50-plus person interested in being the best that they can be until my husband, as my husband and I say, we link hands and we go off that cliff, Thelma and Louise style, after a long, active life. It's our goal to build a real community of like-minded 50-plus cyclists and keep our passion and zest for life going for the long haul. All you have to do is hit the subscribe and maybe give us a like and help us get it off the ground. Come on, let's keep the good times rolling.